Destiny.
And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I would love to welcome our lovely YouTube audience. Welcome back to the show. You guys are watching NODWIN Valorant Challenger South Asia. Today, we have Aster Army going up against God's Reign. And you might see some new faces walk onto the stage today. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Aster Army have had some lineup changes since the first split. You have Aduka, a player who at one point was playing for Orangutan, now playing under the banner of Aster Army. We have quite a lot of familiar faces as well, but one of those familiar faces is going to be Marzel. You must have seen him play for Lethal Esports in the previous split, but now Marzel is going to be playing for Aster Army. So with two new players, Aster Army looks like a completely different team, rejuvenated and reinvented. Is that going to be enough to take on God's Reign though, who so far have been the most consistent team in the league?
Yeah, we can see Marzel and Rotten just coming alongside on stage, and hey, it is important. It is important that will God's Reign, maintain that winning streak and also dominate the group B again. They did previously in the split 1, or we might see something different. By the way, Aster changed their jersey. Dude, I like the previous one a lot.
Oh, I like this one too. I mean, they've got
new
sponsors and everything, so I guess that's better cash flow for all of them. But even God's Reign have some sick new jackets and hoodies, I mean, their jersey has been phenomenal. The gold and purple jersey was always stylish, but those new hoodies look kind of sick. Especially those sleeves with the yellow and white highlights on them. Those are amazing.
Oh, yeah. I do have the old one, dude.
Wait, you have one?
Yeah, when I was training God's Reign. Yeah. On the final day when it was Orangutan versus God's Reign, I was supporting God's Reign, right? And I was like, hey guys, can you give me that hoodie? And they were like, yeah, you can take one. Nice. And Fritz also got one for himself, so.
The privilege that you guys have of being able to visit this studio down in Delhi. By the way, if any of you guys watching are in Delhi right now, head over to the NODWIN Gaming Instagram and other social media channels where you will be able to snag yourself some tickets and come watch this whole spectacle for yourself in person on LAN. I mean, I don't have the privilege of doing so because I'm stuck at home casting the English stream, but maybe at some point in the playoffs, hopefully they'll call me down there. Phoenix and Fritz, the other people who joined me on the English test, usually have also had chances to visit this area, so I am definitely a bit jealous. But yeah, I guess we'll solve those problems out later. For now, the biggest problem that God's Reign have in this map veto is Ascent. Is that gonna be banned? I would surely like to know.
No, that's not gonna be the case. It's gonna be fine. God's Reign ban bind, and Split is gonna be the first pick, but this is from the side of Aster. This is surprising though. Plus, I had a conversation with Godlike and he told me they are still not prepared for Lotus, and also they are saving Lotus for some crucial days. So, yeah, I might have to wait for that.
Oh, I mean, if they have plans of unleashing Lotus at some point in the future, it would be really nice. But for now, Split is a map which not these teams haven't really played before. Even if they have, it's not been a lot. So Aster Army can definitely surprise God's Reign on this particular pick. But God's Reign will be wise enough to ban Ascent out, and that leaves us with the decider map as Haven. It's a staple map, and out of the map pool, God's Reign have already defeated Aster Army on Pearl and Haven before.
Yeah.
But that was a completely different lineup for Aster Army. Now, I'm assuming because this lineup is relatively new, they will have some sort of basic coordination issues, like double peaks probably not being there on time, which is the problem with almost every single team who changes the roster, and of course, it takes some time to get used to each other, right? So, I'm assuming those kind of problems might prop up for Aster Army, but with core strats in place, I think Split should be a map where they can surprise God's Reign for sure.
And I'm looking forward to the same dude because Aster played Split against Reckoning, and again the same thing. They had a different lineup in the Split one, but now again I think so. Split is gonna be the best duel we can see. We have Gecko and Marzel on Raze. Let's go, baby!
Oh, that's crazy. Okay, so the Viper and Astra combination doesn't really surprise me. Astra Army don't usually play the double controller, but Gecko? Oh boy, we're gonna see some Pokemons today in the arena. That's gonna be really fun. You know, every single time I've seen VCT Americas and VCT EMEA, the audience cheers quite a lot whenever the wingman manages to get a plant. So I'm expecting the same from our guys over here in South Asia.
Okay, I would love to hear those cheers. I would love to hear those fans shouting that, "Hey, wingman is planting! You have to be careful." Plus, you also have a safe planter who can just sneak in to the site and just plant the spike, and yeah, you're done. But let's talk about the audience prediction. God's Reign, the supporters are supporting them. And Aster, you still have 31.19%. The fans are believing in Aster Army. They are playing on the attacker side and God's Reign on the defensive side.
Yeah, but the lack of a Killjoy on Aster Army might just cause them problems in the second half. For now, they have to be extremely careful about getting backstabbed because they have no gadgets or anything to watch their backs. At least they have a decent enough offensive front line. Let's see if they're able to push through this. Both the teams having a Viper means we might just see quite a lot of slow rounds. These Viper walls can boil the timer down to milliseconds if need be. Meanwhile, Sai has already pucked off Marzel's head towards the top of mid. And this leaves quite a lot of missing firepower in the hands of Aster Army. Nanos wants to hold them for the time being, but Dizzy is sent in now. But on the back of the Dizzy, Aster Army don't push in.
Now they got stuck. You lost your Dizzy. You already lost your duelist who had a pain shell, I think so, because he didn't use that. Marzel got killed a bit earlier than we expected. It's a 4v5 and they are heading towards mid. Autumn checking the vents. He thought they might sneak in from the A ramps, but no, that's not going to be the case. They're moving towards the B palace. Sai has to be careful. He was about to get one. Yes, he will. But got taken down by Doxer. A good trade, but takes being the silent and the most deadly guy there. Doxer with the third. But Hoax is there. But what just happened, Doxer? What you are doing, my man? We both somehow managed to save the round, but what this man has just done.
Yeah, Doxer's just sitting up there like a massive shooting turret, and he is destroying everybody. Like, he was the first one to get the trade onto Sai. As soon as he got that particular kill, he looked downwards towards Hell, and he was able to get the second frag too onto Autumn. Amazing stuff from them all throughout, and he was basically there to trade all of his teammates, except the last one, where Vibhor came in as a late rotation guy. And he was the one to secure the round for his team. Aster Army, it was quite a close pistol round, so I can assume they will try this once again. And keep in mind, they were able to do all of this without their duelist.
In this round, they don't have a good buy. Vibhor got forced to fall back. A good guiding light creating a room towards the A ramp. Aduka and Doxer tanked a bit of a damage, and so that, as well as Kohli too. They have the regrowth available in the backpack. They can utilize it whenever they want, but the chances of winning this round is 80-20. It's very low for Aster Army, or if they are losing their player like this, then it just dropped down to only 90-10.
Oh, Marzel satcheled into the site, but there's nobody else to follow up behind him. Everyone who was trying to come up behind him has been killed! Unless Doxer pulls off stuff like that, Marzel will be left all by himself. Sai is able to get isolated, but Marzel can't get the frag that he needs. And now it's all up to Doxer. A foot in the grave already. Another frag over here will be a good consolation, but 2 is all that Aster Army can find for themselves. Hey, I think this is still fine. You know, despite the lacking weaponry, at least Marzel was able to get into the site itself, bypassing all of God's Reign defenses. That's also partially because God's Reign were prioritizing screens rather than playing anywhere on the site itself, which does make it a bit difficult to lure them out into the open where they will get decimated. But yeah, as long as they can keep the spike away from the wingman and keep it away from the site, they should be fine. They really need to find some space for Aduka to send that little bro in and get that plant done.
I think so. This might be the round in which they can change some stuff, but Autumn denying that. Will they even know about Kohli? I don't think so. The Trailblazer, he just baited that out, secure the pick, and actually makes it a 4v4. Meanwhile, Aster scale the mid, have a control of the vents. You have to be careful because Autumn also just trying to move in. Just being a little bit cheeky here. Spike got dropped near the crab market. And Hoax is going to be the first one of contact on this, and he about to secure the pick, but it's going to be his Nano Swarm who did that.
Oh no, they just walked past each other. Kohli can easily get into the ace side. It's completely uncontested, and Autumn might just catch him. There it is. And now with Autumn in the back lines, Aster Army have to re-clear a lot of space. Marzel taking control of A Heaven will mean absolutely nothing to this team because they need to first regroup with the spike carrier, that's Doxer, and they now have to check every single corner for Autumn's presence. Autumn, on the other hand, can safely display towards the attacking spawn. He knows they won't come this far inside to re-clear him. They're running out of time too. And their best bet is to just go for the plant right away. Marzel re-clearing towards Heaven. This could be great. He's buying so much space for his teammates. No, but he overcooks, and that leaves Doxer all by himself.
Plays a star towards the entry, also used a Nebula towards the screen. Has to be careful about the Palace. And again, it's a 3v1 situation in which God's Reign has the man advantage. They have to be a bit careful. We both almost got stuck in that gravitational pull, but you know what? Hiding behind this screen is not going to save you. Autumn with a 3rd kill in this round, securing the round once again. God's Reign just killing every single hope of Aster Army, especially in the spy round. This was bad, dude.
Yeah, that's the Aster Army's bonus. It was supposed to be a bonus for them, but let's be honest, God's Reign were the ones who converted it. And they don't just come into this with weaponry from the previous round, they also upgrade to all the Phantoms and Vandals that Aster Army donated to them. I love the setup from Hoax though, it kind of burns Aduka alive even though Aduka gets the first frag. And Autumn's presence towards attacking spawn is the one that changed the entire round. It is unfortunate that as soon as Autumn fell back, Sai died because he thought it's safe. He died trying to capture the orb. But then Autumn made up for it, and that was really cool. Oh, Marzel already down to 1 HP. And out of all the people that die, it's Kohli, the one man who could have healed everyone back up. At least Aster Army are able to get the plant back.
Marzel needs to be careful. One small bullet might just shut him down. Aduka using his wingman to clear out the angles, but Autumn just being a little bit more cheeky there, securing the pick and also covering a lot of area and also collecting a lot of information. Might secure a pick. Needs to be careful. Use Tailwind. Kishi is there. Bailey surviving on just 40 HP. Hoax secures one. We go for one for himself. An easy round for God's Reign. Although Aster got a planter this round, but it doesn't matter. It's God's Reign who secure the win on the 4th round on both.
It's quite funny that they're not using the wingman to plant it out. I thought we might get to see a little bit more of that, but Aster Army would much rather just blitz into the site themselves as a 4-man unit and then try to cover the planter. who uses his own body to plant it. Now, I'm starting to see a pattern over here. You see, God's Reign don't always contest A. If they do, it's either going to be Autumn playing aggro towards A main on the back of Sai's utility. If he's not doing that, then they won't play aggressively towards A at all. They will just leave it in the capable hands of Vibor, who will defend it from screens. This time though, Autumn and Sai have changed up their positions. And I can understand why. It's because they want to use the Viper Spit on A right off the bat. And then Tix gets another cool frag. So, 1 second into the round, Aduga is already dead.
Oh no, you're talking about Wingman just gonna plant the spike. Hey, it just got denied again. And especially those early picks. So Aster just taking a lot of individual fights. Although this was quite unlucky because he just got sprayed down through the smoke and got punished. But in the 4 previous round, we have seen that Aster is just forcing out God's Reign to go for some individual battles, and God's Reign winning those. Tix is the one who's just hiding inside the rope room there. Docs are clearing out the mid. Sai trying to be a little bit careful. Use that Decimate to sell a fake, but Sai also had that, you know, that alarm bot as well as the swarm grenade set up to delay the push, and they already killed 1 minute.
Yeah, just barely 30-something seconds left, and Aster Army have to clear so many areas. Sai once again holding a very strong angle. Hoax there to push alongside him, but Sai doesn't need to re-clear this once more. He would be just speaking by himself. Hoax is not in a position to cover him anymore, but Autumn definitely is. As soon as they try to cross around the other side, Autumn backs him up. Kohli's position's also been given away, so he's just rambling on his own over here, alone with the spike, and he gets decapitated. And even though Doxer is able to get the frags, there's not much that he can do from there. God's Reign are running away with this map without any problems at all.
So God's Reign just allowing Aster to go towards A, and that's it. Whenever they're trying to move towards B, they got stuck near this palace area or maybe the garage entry, and that's it. That's the 2 areas they're holding when they're just trying to pinch B, and it's scary. Plus, one more thing, Hoax didn't even change his setup. He still put that swarm grenade on top, also assisting that alarm bot. So that's a point of concern. That's a point of concern for Aster Army, not trading abilities, forcing out players of God's Reign to go for this individual battle. You're also losing those, plus those random shots, not random exactly, but those shots through the smokes, through the toxic screen, also, you know, killing down your first, giving away the first kills. Exactly. So you have to be careful, and I think so Godlike is also discussing the same, that you have to be a little bit careful, you have to be a little bit passive, because they are utilizing that toxic screen and also the mid area so perfectly that you're just getting trapped into a loophole.
Yeah, I mean, God's Reign have this just rollback kind of setup with the defense, you know. On the back of the toxin screen, they will play aggressively towards mid first, and then after they get a pick or a little bit of damage is exchanged, they then fall back. And that's when they try to play B Heaven on the back of the KJ util. And if that also fails, they fall even further back and try to defend the spike, the site itself. But this time the setup has changed. It's Hoax who's placed his KJ utility towards A main and turret towards A ramp. Meanwhile, the mid area is still being marked by Tix and Sai, so at least that part sees no trouble or no changes whatsoever. Vibor, on the other hand, has used a different screen this time. This one cuts off mid like it usually would, but instead of going all the way from A Heaven, it goes from B main.
Also creating a pocket near that B Palace. Plus, I'm missing the impact of Gecko. Maybe a lot would disagree with that, but to be honest, Sky is doing a lot of job than the Gecko should.
Yeah. I mean, at least they're able to reclaim their abilities once more. But this is such an orchestrated push. I mean, Aster Army have already determined that they want to go towards the vent room, which they're not keeping a secret anymore. I mean, they've been making quite a lot of noise. And they don't even need to worry about any flanks because the AWP as well as the turret is marking that. Oh my god, Autumn is so sharp. Slices and dices 2 people away. Even though the Seekers have been committed by Aster Army, it doesn't really give them anything unique. All the information that Aster Army get on the back of the Seekers was already present to them. They need firepower, which they are severely lacking, and Autumn has plenty of.
I like this play from Aster, but just because of those less suitable weapons, and also the positioning of Autumn was crazy. They couldn't able to convert this one in their favor. Hawks got killed a bit earlier, but Autumn securing the back of Marcy was just scary. Although Aduka did a great job going for those trades and also increasing the number of his kills. Tally couldn't do much. And look at this. Kishi on 0, Kohli on 1, Marzel on just 1. Yeah, Marzel is trying to enter inside the side, but that's a story on A. Norton. Just saying him that, you know what, Marzel? This is not the team, dude. This is not the map. This is not the split. This is my game, and you have to be careful.
Wow, man, doesn't do much to clear out the area, but Tix gets betrayed by that rope. It turns into his noose. Now, keep in mind that there is a thrash available onto Aduka. He can use that ultimate finally. He's been farming it up for quite some time. But he doesn't know exactly where the defensive setup of God's Reign is. I mean, they've used this KJ setup so volatilely. It's very difficult to figure out where it is.
Yeah.
Vibor keeps on... Oh, sorry, Hoax keeps on changing it. Meanwhile, the AWP that Autumn was holding on to, it's still there. Dizzy doesn't clear him out. It gives Asrami a heaven control, but getting into the site itself will be a big problem because they have to go through not only Autumn, but also Sai. The only person who can probably challenge him is going to be Aduka. He's done a great job of using the wingman to plant, and he's able to re-clear a heaven, which has now been taken over by the Viper's Pit. Maybe the Blocktown can clear it out.
Yeah. Oh, there's a gap. There is a small corner in which Kishi can hold on and also maintain that smoke, maintain that Viper's Pit. Vibor is trying to go for a sneaky play because there's still a player inside the site. A fake tap. Kohli collected a lot of information. He has a guiding light available. Kishi needs to be careful. He has a direct spray area. But what Vibor is just doing, this is not doable. Autumn secure one, but Doxer instantly re-peaks from the Viper's Pit. And the first round is in the backpack for Aster, and Doxer lost his life and also lost the weapon.
That's okay, that's okay. I think the round is the bigger priority here for Astrami. And this is them finally using Gecko to its full potential. Yes, they lost Marzel towards the start, but that isn't a problem because you then had Aduka using the wingman to clear out vents, and he was also able to get a kill onto Tix. Not because of the utility, partially because Tix was holding on to a very cheeky rope angle, which got him killed. But then he uses the trash to go towards B Heaven. And this causes God's Reign to rotate away from A Heaven, leaving it for the open. And they take it with the back of the, on the back of the Dizzy. They even use the Dizzy to force Autumn away from the angle. But this time, there's no forcing Autumn away. He's standing right there like a turret, shooting everybody down.
Time to hunt.
Another first kill goes to Autumn. He left that vents area and holding the palace. Good amount of utility is being used by Sai to collect a lot of information. Aduka somehow managed to just recollect his wingman, and that's a good part. That's a good part for him. He's just doing this again and again. And look at the position of Kishi. He is already near that A ramp and about to take control of the A palace with the help of his team. Use the toxic screen to divide the palace and also to push back that Autumn. Autumn needs to be careful. A good showstopper, and Vibor is done.
Asrami are using the same cap again. They successfully managed to use the vent to 8-hour rotation to carve a path for themselves into the site, and they will use it yet again. Oh, Wingman isn't really available, so he plants it with his own body, but that's okay because Marzel's marking screens, unfortunately. Sai has superior movement, and Autumn has superior aim. Now it's up to them to use the util to delay God's Reign as much as possible. Aduka playing dangerous games, just playing very close to elbow, hoping to keep the defenders away, but it doesn't do anything, and Doxer is left very lonely in the site, and he will join his teammates in the afterlife soon enough.
The round is gone, Match Lunas has gone, and also the amount of ultimates you have invested. 7-1 is good. It's the scoreline. Plus that shot by Autumn, just nasty. I don't know how he just even did that.
Yeah, I mean...
After this one, yeah.
these are the common shots from Autumn. You know, we've seen him do much more nutty stuff. So this is not surprising by any stretch of the imagination. But I love how God's Reign give Aster Army a false sense of security. You know, Aster Army has been able to use the A Heaven region to get into the site 2 times in a row now. But unlike the previous round, God's Reign were very potent on retake this time. And once again, poor Aster Army find themselves staring down the brutal end of an eco round. With just a frenzy and dream, you have Sai easily taking down Mazel, who was hoping to clear out the region. He even had backup from Kohli. His flashes were spot on. But God's Reign are comfortable giving away A Heaven to Aster Army. I mean, they realize this is the only place that Aster Army can really take. So they're like, yeah, sure, go ahead, have it. I dare you, I double dare you to take sight from this region again.
Toxins going up.
And look at that, now we have a turret. Usually an alarm bot too. That is facing that garage area though. Kishi breaks every single utility, spots Autumn is careful and also ready with his operator towards that B Palace. Hoax heard someone drop, shuts down Kishi, falls down and gives some space to Autumn to just shine. And look at the position of Doxa, it's good.
Oh, yeah, Doxa is actually making quite a lot of difference over here. He could have been the one who distracts God's Reign long enough by getting that kill onto Sai. But now that the spike has been discovered, God's Reign are not going to fall for those tricks again. Autumn and Hoax defending B with their lives so fabulously. And the setup, it doesn't change all that much, but it creates a hell of a lot of difference. Aster Army are taking A tower and vent control again and again, but you know what? God's Reign are okay with that. They just play back towards the defender spawn and that should be enough. But this time you see how Hoax has changed up his utility by just a narrow margin. Instead of playing from the edge of B tower himself, he places the turret over there. And with Autumn marking B main with his operator, nobody coming in from there allows Autumn to focus towards Heaven rather than actually being pressured from main, which significantly increases his focus and his ability to shut you down. Hoax doesn't even have to sweat all that much to cover Autumn, who on paper should have been in a very difficult position if someone from Aster Army challenged B main as well. At least this time they're doing so.
Oh,
No way.
that was a risky play, and you know what? Okay, I'm not that surprised. Autumn is
doing Autumn things.
A greedy man, yeah, and just doing Autumn things. How Aster is even allowing that? They should be careful of these nasty peaks. Seekers have been utilized by Sai to collect some extra information that where the players actually are. And Kissy been able to destroy that Seeker, that cauliflower. And hey, Sai again holding the similar angle, but this time from a different position.
They're expecting the nanoswarms to pop open, but that's not where the nanoswarms are this time. And Sai is being super cheeky on the back of that smoke. He peeks out only to get traded out by Doxa, but it's not a problem at all because Styx is here to cover. Finally, Aduka makes a difference by coming in from B main. This is something that should have been done in the previous round as well to shut Autumn down. But hey, at least Aster Army learned from their mistakes. No way, they still can't shut down Autumn regardless of changed positions. Aduka is forced to give up the ultimate. And he's forced to give up his life as well as he gets double peaked.
These trades are the key to success for God's Reign winning those rounds again and again. Plus, also I think so. This should work with the Thrash to clear out the defender's alley and move towards that Heaven. But hey, they didn't do that and just got suffered. And also lost another round. Aster, this is the first time, they moved towards the B pretty successfully with a man advantage, but Tex was able to, deny that and converted that into a 2v2 fight, in which Autumn was very comfortable to snatch that man advantage and also create one for himself.
Yeah, but Aster Army are now relying too much on their comfort picks, They have become very comfortable taking control of mid and then using it to get into vents. They can't keep doing that every time, especially not when Autumn is playing like that. I mean, the smoke is deployed very late. What are you going to do about it now? Marzel's already gone. And in so many of these rounds, Marzel loses his life at the very beginning.
Fourth time. This is the fourth time trips, Marzel lost his life in the
In the first 10 seconds of the rounds, yeah.
Yeah, that's bad. It shows that how much predictable Marzel is in certain situations.
Down.
No way. Kohli peek inside by himself. No backup, no flashes. I mean, I expected Aster to have some hiccups since this is a new lineup, but this isn't what I thought would be we get to witness. At least he's given away the illusion that Aster are interested in hitting the B side, whereas A is where they are coming. It still doesn't matter because God's Reign default hasn't really changed. Aduka's approach definitely has. They're able to get the site. Wingman goes for the plant. There you go, little bro. I know you've been waiting for it since quite some time, but it still leaves Aster in a very difficult situation. It's a 3v4. The only person who can probably save them is Doxer, who's trying to go all the way around. And now that the turret's been destroyed by Aduka, it might just make this backstab viable.
She needs to step up. 6 HP in a dream. Doxer also coming up with the backup planner, also the support. He spots out Autumn. No! He had a chance to shut him down, and now it's a 1v2 dual peak. But
Nice.
good amount of damage by Doxer. A beautiful headshot switch to the classic. Re-peeking again and again, forcing out Sai to just play and to stick. But hey, Doxer secures another round for the team Aster, and we might witness a 9-3. I would love to see a 9-3.
It takes nerves of steel to go up against the Clutchmaster Sai. And with Doxer able to pull off a 1v2, we might just have a new Clutchmaster contender on the boards. We pointed this one out, you know, we pointed out how he's playing towards Vent and will come in as a late lurker, as the only person who can potentially save his team. That prediction comes true. But I hope that Aster can keep finding this success once again. They've gotten a bit too used to losing Marzel on mid and still being able to take A or B heaven respectively. But turning that into a plant has been something that Aster always stumble on. That's a step that they always miss.
Another timeout by God's Reign. And you know what? God's Reign is covering his face. Maybe some in-depth strats and bad luck on the other side just being very vocal. Look at him.
Yeah.
His hand gesture is just crazy.
Yeah, Vandalak's a very enthusiastic person,
Yeah.
you know? He's just so loud and boisterous. I would like my coaches to be like that. Meanwhile, Abhishek is the complete opposite, you know? Godspeed is very calm, composed. He barely ever screams or raises his voice. Really tells you the vibe of this team, you know? With Aster playing with a hot-headed coach like that, it keeps their spirits high, I agree, but God's Reign are as cool as a cucumber. At least that's what Killjoy would say. Oh, this time Marzel once again diving right inside. This time he's got Aduka for backup behind him. But it doesn't matter because B main control is taken away without any problems. And Sai wants to re-peek with the shorty. Not able to connect this time around, but he's dealt quite a lot of damage. At least that damage can be healed back up by Kohli's regrowth. But now he's figured out that all three of Aster players are trapped towards the B heaven stairs. They can get easily pinched. There's only one place they can go, and that's back down mid. Even if they try to climb again up the mid region, they will have to re-clear all these angles, which is a long and arduous affair. And what they don't know is that Tix, actually they might just know that Tix has slipped past them. Can they win the duels though? Yes, he can. Marzel finally coming to life.
It's a 3v3 now. A good jump peek by Marzel. Marzel playing like he should. Wingman has been used and Autumn missing that shot. Autumn forced to fall back but disrespecting the pain shield. Marzel punishes him. And this is what I expected from the start of the game. That this is how Aster's just gonna play. Hoax left alone on his own. The Thrash has been utilized to clear out the defender's alley. Hoax peeks. Kohli shuts him down and the first half is done. I expected a 9-3. I got a 9-3. I am happy. But we have been talking about that Sentinel is missing in the composition of Team Aster. How are they going to hold? How are they going to play on the defensive side? Now that's the biggest question of the series.
Yeah, that is indeed a very good question. I mean, sometimes taking a step back is the road to taking a step forward, and this time Aster did that by falling back down mid, catching Tix's aggression, and they were able to get that advantage that they desperately needed. So I guess sometimes not playing super aggressively might be the key, but it's a bit too late to now fix your mistakes of the first half. You must look to the future, and the future holds the second half for us. On the other side of this break, don't go anywhere, we'll be back with Aster versus God's Reign.
Can't feel my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z. Or should I say, the Gen X. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly to it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I nickel cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Can't feel my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Welcome back to Omen Valorant Challenges South Asia, driven by Hyundai, and our styling partner is Philips OneBlade. So far, God's Reign are styling on Aster with that dominant 9-3 scoreline. But they want to keep it up. They walk right past the mosh pit, straight into the waiting arms of Kishi. And these smokes and snake bites will finally hold God's Reign back, but they've already lost Autumn. At least they now figured out that there's 2 players on B Heaven. Marzel hasn't revealed his pussy yet though. And when he finally does, he will be taken care of.
And again, it's Marzel. This time he's not the first one who got killed. The first one from Aster Army got killed though. It's a 4v4, and now God's Reign, they do have that wind control, but it seems like they might move towards B. Aduka. Oh, the set from God's Reign was very sneaky and very interesting too, because they were aware of that fact that Aduka might use his flash to detect his, their positioning, and they were already prepared for that. Damn, God's Reign! Amazing.
Absolutely stunning. God's Reign managed to get the plant regardless. They faced a lot of difficulties in doing so, but they're able to battle through all of those. Nice dink by Sai. This significantly reduces Dox's chances of making an impact. And even if Sai fails, there's an insurance policy in form of Vibor who's holding the other side of this toxic Viper screen. Oh, no way. Doxer almost caught him off guard, but Sai still turns around to shoot him.
And here's the 10th round. This was the 10th round for God's Reign, and they might achieve the 11th one too, because now this is going to be a gold round, and this they might get a good amount of money. And Autumn already buying a Vandal with a light shield. And Tix was also being very vocal with this team, maybe discussing some flaws, or maybe that first pick of the teammate Autumn. That was a mistake though. Not respecting the mosh pit as well as the snake bite got punished in the previous round. But in this round, we can see a 5-stack from the side of Aster, and God's Reign also moving towards A. There. So this is going to be an interesting one.
(10-3) and Aster, despite having their backs against the wall, have not gone in for a force buy. Really shows their resilience, but it also makes me very concerned. Alright. Oh, the toxin screen drops at the worst possible time. I thought that could have been an easy demise, but Kishi taking very unnecessary risks. Doxer's at least able to find the back of Hoax, and you have Aduka making hero plays. This entire eco setup is collapsing upon God's Reign, but Vibor continues to hold on. A triple kill to save what could have potentially been a thrifty from Aster Army.
Good approach by Aster Army. Especially that pick from Doxer was just perfect. And also, that pick set it up the other teammates of Aster to just move forward, just utilize that flash from Gecko. Aduka did his best actually, but in that situation, if Kohli would have secured one pick, the situation could have been in their favor. But okay, doesn't matter. A timeout coming in from the side of Team Aster. Vanlak just gonna do some magic, or maybe just gonna talk to his team that what's going wrong. And then again, this man, a man is cooking pasta.
Huh? Okay. I wish you didn't name the dish now because it made me hungry. Whenever you say someone's cooking, just leave it as an arbitrary, vague dish, The moment you actually name a food item, it makes me hungry. So, yeah, don't do that.
Sorry for that, dude. Now I am hungry. Holy moly.
You did it to yourself.
What's
You
just
did it to
going on?
yourself. Anyway,
Yeah.
I'm finally seeing a lot of stress in the face of Vanlek, and he while he's always enthusiastic and while he's always outspoken, you don't see that frown in between his eyes, You don't see that eyebrow little being crunched. So now that it's happening, I'm starting to feel a little sense of dread creeping in for Aster Army.
Gun here.
Doxer's the only one who's firing, and he's the only one who's in double digits for this entire team. Keep in mind that he was responsible for a 1v2 clutch, which keeps Aster Army at 2 points. Dizzy straight out of mid, and this is a good setup from Aster Army, but it still doesn't help. The crossfire from God's Rain shredding them to pieces.
Oh no. Strat to move towards mid with the help of Aduka.
Toxins going up.
Shut down the mid presence of God's Rain, just backfired. And now Aster. We both thought that was a vandal, but that was his own stinger. Okay, Hoax had a stinger. Apologies. In the start of this round. But this is the buy round. And if Aster loses this one, they might lose the map because Kozrin will secure a match point, and in that situation, Aster, they don't have a better buy. It's going to be Toxer all alone. But Kozrin respecting the same.
Yeah, I mean, at least with Kishi pushing all the way out of A, Doxer uses the Nebula to keep them away,
30
So
seconds left.
Aster Army at least had a good read on the back of that aggression, but what can they possibly do now? Doxer has clutched out a 1v2 before, but this is a bit too tall of an ask. Especially with Hoax having the lockdown, he can secure map point for this team if Doxer starts firing away.
Save.
10
Yeah.
seconds left.
Aster Army.
Save.
They need to, yeah, they need to save. They don't have money for the next round. They accumulated whatever wealth they had by saving up and going for ecos every now and then, and they use it to dump all of their inventory down mid. Little did they know that God's Rain would have, I can't even call it a crossfire setup because it was more like a default setup. I mean, that's where the attackers literally start, so it's not even a crossfire that God's Rain actively planned out. They were just sort of holding the angles. They just waited out the toxin screen. As soon as the toxin screen came down, they knew that the Dizzy would be tossed over it. And even if God's Rain did not know about it, they have no reason to suspect that Aster Army won't play aggressively. They have no reason to suspect that they will try something unique. So they just caught them off guard.
True. And also dodging those dizzy flashes also an art. Kozrin doing this is again and again. They had done on their attacker side when they were prepared when Aduka just gonna push in the pistol round. And now they had done it again. And the presence of mind from the side of Autumn is good. And look at the scoreline. 25-9. Autumn chill, dude. It's not an escalation match.
Oh, I've had escalation games where I had less frags than that. Autumn, he's just farming, man. He did mention that he will farm velocity at one point. Unfortunately, Aster Army have replaced that team now. And this is quite a weird mid setup. Like, Kishi's just playing for contact. He's not even going to fight over here. He's just going to fall back. But with no one to help him on B Heaven, nor anyone towards mid vent, it looks a bit dicey. At least Mazel is now stepping inside, and just in time to welcome God's Rain, who are also exploring this region. But Kishi falls, and that leaves Doxer on B once again. He uses the Nebula to make sure that he can fight on tower at the very least, but with him getting triple peak like that, there's absolutely no chance.
And the final pick goes to Sai. This was his third in this round, and God's reign. Wow, what a victory! What a victory on a map pick of Aster Army. This is the new Aster Army. We thought that this might be the new undefeated, or maybe the Goliaths of Split 2, but hey, that's cool.
I like how Tix just tried to grab a bite out of Sai's head over there. I guess your hunger references made them hungry as well. So much so that he's resorting to cannibalism almost. But yeah, speaking of cannibalism, now Aster Army have to eat their own pots. I don't know how they will recover in the second map, but I hope they do. We'll break down this game with further detail on the other side of this break.
Came for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
I know my destiny. destiny. I know my destiny.
that the communication between an initiator and a duelist is really important, and that's what we're missing between the Reckoning Esports game, and that's why they switched Kohli as well as Doxer to Kishi. So they might do it again, and I think so they have to do it again. Maybe the Aduka to Marzel setup is not working out.
I hope it works out for them at some point. Alright, we have some big changes right away. Marzel picking up the Harbor. Now that's surprising. Aduka this time playing the Duelist instead of Marzel. And Doxer going
Nice.
for the Viper. This is the first time that Aster Army are trying out this Harbor Viper composition. Last time they were sticking to the good old Astra and KO kit, you know? Meanwhile, there's no changes from the side of God's Reign. They stick to the good old setup which always has worked for them, which includes a Sova.
And a breach.
And a
Hooks
breach,
on
yeah.
a breach. It's one of the most deadliest guy. In the previous map, he was playing with KJ and he was still doing a lot of job. And now he is playing on Initiator and he is actually very good with that. But I am actually excited about this Aster's composition because whenever it comes to a double duelist composition, me and Fritz just get crazy like small teenage girls and we're like, yeah, controllers. Woohoo! We can see a lot of map control being snatched by attackers.
Let's hope
But
so.
yeah, is this gonna happen or not? Let's see. And I might invite Fritz.
Okay.
Let me text him.
Okay, you do that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Aster Army are battling down A main. Autumn trying to defend it with his life, but now that the High Tide's gonna go in, he will be cut off from the action unless almost the entirety of God's Reign try to challenge ahead of this High Tide, which isn't really happening. So you've got Autumn playing towards backside now. Vibor tries to peek ahead, but he loses his life. Autumn tries to do the same, and he's successful. So it's a 1-for-1 trade. Aster Army are able to get that spike plant. Will they be able to fall back in time, though? All of God's Reign coming in from the front lines. There's no flankers.
Every single one of them playing from the defender's alley, and a good shock dart to destroy every single setup being placed from that KJ. And see a beautiful 2 picks. Sai with the trade, but maybe it's too late. Kohli. And it was Kishi, although just securing those picks one by one. And again, I said it like in the past, in the split one, and I'm gonna say it again. Kishi on KJ is the perfect combination you can use. And they are doing it again. I loved it.
And this time he was able to do it only on the basis of his aim. I mean, his nanoswarms were
Yeah.
already boiled out by the shock dart that Sai sent. So it was just him playing like a star fragger instead of relying on his kit. A Sova Breach combination is not something you usually see on Pearl, you know? Especially if you
Agreed.
guys have been watching the international VTD circuit in Americas, EMEA or Pacific. No team really uses Breach all that much. But God's Reign have a very stable setup for retaking, you know? With Sai using the recon and Hawks just using the fault line towards backhauls, it gives them a very strong set of util to clear out backhauls every time Aster Army plant B. But the problem was they couldn't clear the front lines, which Kishi was marking really well. So that's the problem that continues to persist for God's Reign. Uh-oh. Before
No way.
a large chunk of his health eaten away. And now he's stuck over there, somehow keeping himself alive behind that harbor utility. But when the harbor himself descends upon you, there's not much that you can do.
One enemy remaining.
Yeah, that happens.
That spread. Yeah, that classic spread is annoying, dude. That burst is bad. And Mazen, look at him. He's smiling. He knows that, you know what, this is working out. This double control is working out because I can see that anger on faces of the players of God's Reign that we have to take control of the side B. We need to, you know, get that area, get that site in our favor because the way they're utilizing this double controller is actually very good. And also, the way Aduka is setting up himself according to Marzel, where he places his high tide and where the Nebula got, where the toxic screen is being placed. I love this.
Here.
And this time
I
once
am loving
again,
this.
Aster Army might just do what you love once more. Use the cascade to creep inside deeper towards B main. The Nebula, which is being placed by Tix, keeps Aster Army away, at least for the time being. It slows them down. But look at the positioning from Kishi. He's trying to lurk in from double door.
Here.
He's just gonna play on timing, and it's gonna be up to Hawks to mark him.
They have Reckoning,
Here.
and this is their bonus round. This is the perfect round to utilize your Reckoning. And if Mazel is getting an ultimate in the third round, this is the best. Autumn needs to be careful. He got dazed, he got stunned. He has to be a little bit careful in Aduka. Just going forward, disrespecting that Toxic Strain and got punished by Autumn.
Recalling my bolt.
Oh, but
Bot
Kishi's
coming
coming
back.
in for the flank. And here it is. No B-Link control for God's Reign. This makes the retake far more difficult. They're using the cascades to keep God's Reign away once again. Who would have expected that the post-plant setups can be working out so well as Aster Army, not just by time, but also get all the frags they need. This could be a brilliant bonus round conversion.
Beautiful, beautiful way. Aster is playing so perfectly. This is the Aster I thought they're gonna play like. This is the way I thought that they're gonna play on Split, but you know what? Pearl, it works. Maybe they were so prepared for Pearl that Godlike just outplayed them on Split. But hey, they are doing good. 3 rounds on board. They might get the 4th one because now Godlike, they don't have a better buy. They have to stick on those Sheriff and Light Shields too. Plus that change, that small change from Kishi to go for a double door lurk worked out perfectly. Especially when Aduka got picked on the first place.
Yeah, and when God's Reign have very little area to retake with, only by coming in from Defender Spawn and from Heaven, it becomes really difficult to clear out all these areas because the crossfires that Aster can set up on B are nefarious. And once again, Aster Army use the B site like their bread and butter, just like most teams in BCT do. The B site is being used like a staple by several of these teams. But unlike last time, they don't go in for the plant directly. They send Aduka in first, and he gets punished by Tick, so that's a weapon available to God's Reign now. Tix also has some stars to start the retake on and maybe tap the spike, but they will use Sai's drone to clear out all these angles, and they've figured out that Astra are just playing range. So they need to continue fighting now. Tix, with the one weapon acquired, tries to go in for the frags once again, and he's getting all of them. He's rolling heads off of their shoulders. The Cosmic Divide will make it much harder for Astra Army to defend. They have to go on the other side of this wall. They use the frags and the flashes to do so. And Doxer, with a heroic 4K, is able to get this team the 4th round.
And also the Vipers spent a beautiful round by Aster Army, especially Doxer too. After losing out Aduka, it was just, you know, an even-Steven situation because you lost one weapon but you got the plant, right? It's a good swap, it was a good bait, and Aster was just playing around it pretty perfectly. That Swamp and the Snakebite combination to shut down Autumn was also good. But now, this is the 5th time they are moving towards B. They haven't touched A in a while because B is working out for them so perfectly. They don't need to have changed the setup, but Aduka was just being more careful, shutting down Autumn. The star fragger, the MVP of the previous map, is out.
Yeah, God's Reign made a lot of effort into changing their setup. I mean, the Astra is no longer defending B. They had the AWP placed over there in form of Autumn. Even Sai is playing that area. He usually was playing A and Art every now and then, but hopefully with these changes, God's Reign can shuffle things up. Maybe ruffle the feathers of Aster Army, but they are unfazed by these changes. Even Hoax has arrived on scene. So there's 3 defenders actively present over here. This should, on paper, make it difficult for Aster Army, but the High Tide just nullifies them, clears them out from the action.
Meanwhile, we saw before destroyed a turret in the mid, and now regrouping, going for a backstab. Sai shuts down Mazel. Aduka needs to be careful, and he wasn't. Sai swings, secures one, and Hoax with the final pick. This is the first time God's Reign won a round on the B side, and that pinch from the B link towards the B hall with the help of Sai and Hoax was just a cherry on top of a cake. Although Aster was the one who secured the first pick, but God's Reign, this team secured the final pick and the first round of the second round.
Yeah, and it tells you that whenever God's Reign make these changes, they are fundamentally rooted in the tactics rather than relying on the frags. It wasn't just Autumn's position that mattered over there. It wasn't the only thing that was changed. What also was shuffled around was the timing at which Sai peaks. Usually you would have the backhalls guy just trying to stop the spike plant from going down, but this time Sai, having expended all his utility already, was just a guy with a gun, so he has no fear peeking out and trying to capture the essence of distraction. He shoots down 2 players almost in one fell swoop while they were busy fighting B-Link, and that's another fundamental thing. Last time God's Reign struggled to retake quite a lot because they did not have B-Link control, which forces them to funnel themselves in via Heaven and the defender spawn entrance, essentially simplifying the hold for Aster Army in the post plant. Now that aim-in control is also available for God's Reign, they don't have to worry about being shocked down in a choke point. They can diversify their entry points, and that makes things so much more easier. It gives them a lot more breathing space. Do Aster Army continue going B again, or will they finally switch things up? At least they've left Kishi as a lurker this time, but the rest of them still going down the good old trusty B.
Oh, Autumn. This time he's successful. Shuts down Doxer.
Nebula plays
Look at
perfectly.
the position of Kishi, by the way. Moving towards Art. Yeah.
Yeah, this would be the first time that he's going towards Art. He's got the lockdown, but he won't be able to get past this area undetected. There is the KJ setup of Vibhor marking that area. In fact, he's doubled down on mid double door and the Art region. So he's using the alarm bot over there, which will, I guess, be instantly activated. Oh no! Aduka making contact towards B main, and now the turret being broken towards double door might just give God's Reign the false sense that Aster are heading towards B, whereas that's not the plan. Oh, at least the nanoswarms being destroyed on AR tell them exactly what Aster Army is up to, but they're losing members. So God's Reign really can't determine where the hit's gonna come now.
Plus, also Vibhor gave his position by the Trailblazer, and re-peeking from the double doors wasn't a good decision. Hawks needs to be careful. Spot someone shuts down Aduka, but Mazel was there for a trade. Kishi just moved towards the defender's spawn. Sai got stuck behind the B halls. His position has been compromised with a Guardian. Kohli was pretty perfect with his aim. Kishi secures a free pick and a beautiful another round though. It's a 5-1 and the last bonus got reset. Oh my god, Aster just utilized one ultimate and again a hero play by Kishi. Plus his whole team just did a great, amazing job. Kudos to Kohli though. Yeah.
Kohli has been phenomenal in getting his team those early entries. You know, those flashes are really popping. But it was Kishi's presence that really bamboozled the hell out of God's Reign. I mean, Aster Army have hit B so hard every single time that it's almost conditioned God's Reign to double down on that area. And now finally God's Reign are switching things up. They realize that since Aster Army is not taking A main control at all, why don't we send our jet down that area? Maybe take away a little bit of those options from Aster Army. Mazel recognizes this though. He's holding very passively towards attacking spawn.
Yep, you're done. Okay. I don't know how, but Aster Army is just reading him like an open book. Kishi also farming. Another pick for him. Might get the third. Deny the counterpart. Come on, Kishi. Yes, he will.
I mean, they're making this look very easy right now.
Yeah.
So let's break down what's happened so far. All the tactical timeouts that God's Reign have used have not really helped their case. Aster Army have conditioned God's Reign into believing that they will be hitting B every now and then, that they finally took A main control, and even that did not help. What other option do they have right now? They can only hope to reinforce mid and then keep control of B link for an eventual retake, which seems inevitable right now because Aster just keep getting B side for themselves without any problems. And unless God's Reign really focus fire on B, I don't think they can stop Aster Army either. So I guess they will only just hope to take B link control again and again, which once more is being denied by Aster Army. Look at this. They have 3 people creeping in. The alarm bot will finally detect them, and the microwave setup is perfect. The stun from Astra along with the nanoswarms keep them cornered, and then Sai also uses his Hunter's Fury. Could have been another kill for that, but Aster Army quickly pivots towards Art, and now the round descends into chaos. The lockdown initiated. There's plenty of space for God's Reign to continue playing on the side, but Tix gets picked off. The elevation not helping him. There's only one person who can make a difference, and that is gonna be Vibor. He can get the spike carrier, but the rotations for God's Reign are being cut off. This leaves Vibor on an island, and Aduka's mark in this one.
Oh no, he missed a crucial shot.
Spike down
The spike got dropped, and also the man advantage, the double man advantage, has been denied. It's 2v3 in which Kohli has just 31 HP. Kishi, God's Reign, where the dream Kishi peaks. Stop shutting down the hopes of God's Reign and Aduka. I loved it. This man is just doing the perfect job for his team. That role swap, that agent change is actually a change Aster needed to secure a dub. Almost secure a dub, because to be honest, they have a good lead here on the map of Pearl.
Spike down A.
This is God's Reign pick, mind you again, because they had defeated Aster Army on their pick. It was split, and the scoreline was 13-3, a quick matchup. But on the map pick of God's Reign, Aster Army just blowing their heads. This time we can see a triple man push from the side of God's Reign, contesting the mid courtyard here, moving towards the shops, and Doxer is the one, might be the one who can be the first man of contact. But no. It's the mighty turret.
Deploying drone. Enemy tagged.
Sai used his drone, marks one enemy, secures two more information. He spots two more out. Aduka used his tailwind to just be careful.
Toxins going up.
Doxer moving towards Art. She already scaled a main, takes on just 5 HP, and similar thing for Doxer on 18, but a beautiful snake bite, a perfect one though to shut down Tix there. And now the team Aster Army itself moving towards the site A, in which Kishi has a major role, placed a turret towards the defender's alley, or maybe towards the secret.
Blocking fire.
Margin's is gonna plant pretty easily. He has that cover. A trailblazer. Apologies. A guiding light has been used towards the mid connector. No information given away. God's Reign just moving forward. Vibor just waiting for the whole pack to regroup and to move forward towards site. Toxic screen has been placed. Vibor got detected by that turret. So it was the high tide. Kishi buying some more time with his swarm grenade speak. And you know what? This is the 8th round for Aster. Autumn though. Couldn't do much. And the 8th one on board. So, what happened in this round? Okay. Team God's Reign was playing a bit proactively, especially on the mid side, when they placed a Nebula towards the top mid, covering the turret, and also collecting some information that no one is pushing from the side of Team Aster Army. When they got this information, they falls back, and in that very situation, Kishi moves forward and counters scaling the map towards A main. And from that very moment, his teammates joined him from the AR area, and we just saw what happened. They took the control of A side and also secure the 8th round.
One of those rounds where Aster Army finally hit the A site, huh? And God's Reign were least prepared for it. There is a little change up though. The Killjoy has finally come towards the B site. We've been waiting for this change since quite some time, but we are finally given whatever we've been waiting to see. But Aster Army avoid B like the plague. After sending a cascade and a guiding light down B ramp, they are heading towards Art now. And there's no cages set up over here this time, so it will be up to Hoax to just mark this angle personally. I mean, if things go wrong, he can always use the Rolling Thunder. But will he be able to go and refrag on the back of it? The timing is perfect. It hits them square in the face, and Tix capitalizes on it. That's a Aduka gone. But at least the rest of the Aster Army people can recover their footing on Art and now continue heading in. Marzel planting with the cove. You can't spam that angle now.
Spike planted.
Yeah. It's already been covered. The spike got planted, and now it's a 4v5 in which Kishi just soaking a lot of damage. And look at the position of Toxa.
Nice!
But Autumn is very good with his aim. Defender's Killjoy. The Killjoy lockdown might force the Aster player to fall back, but they were just being more cautious. Kishi needs to be careful. He soaked a lot of damage, but oh, Kohli with Dream. And I think so this is going to be God's Rain round. Yes, it will.
Yeah, God's Rain finally make this one work. I love how Mazel just tried to play kamikaze over there. Knowing that he won't be able to fall back from the lockdown, he just commits deeper into Flower, trying to hopefully get his team a man advantage or two. And while he was traded out, he definitely made them sweat. Doxer has been getting into these lurk positions a bit too often now, so it is actually incredible to see Autumn being prepared for it. Especially with a close quarter shot with the AWP like that, it's really impressive how cool this guy is with his mechanics. God's Rain finally putting another round on the board. We've been waiting for this since quite some time, but now Aster Army are playing hyper aggressively in towards A. It's a 1-1-3 setup. 2 players on mid from them. The rest of them take the A orb with Blitzkrieg speed.
And now they are playing slow. Doing these space changes are helping them a lot. Reckoning has been utilized. Hoax! Aduka, what a beautiful tailwind. You got punished instantly, but hey, Aster knows that how to deny that man disadvantage. Kishi got re-healed with the help of regrowth. Tex needs to be careful, and he certainly was, but Mazel escapes his demise, falls back to safety. And again, Doxer has that art control, so he can utilize it whenever he wanted. Whenever he wants, though. So, Team God's Rain have to be careful. If they want to defuse the spike, the alarm bot got destroyed, and simultaneously the swarm grenade has been utilized.
Yeah, but there's so much util to deny the spike defuse. I mean, not only does Kishi have a lockdown, but there's also the snake bites available. And if that's not enough, Kohli will personally come out and escort all his opponents down to the Netherlands.
What?
Last round before the switch.
What Kohli and Doxer were like doing, dude. Sometimes it's Doxer just stepping up, going for those hero play, collecting multi-frags, and now Kohli. Yeah, I had mentioned this in the previous match that he had less than 7 kills, and now he is doing what an IGL should do, especially in these situations. So hey, this is Kohli for you guys. But again, you know what? This is the dream start for Aster. This is the dream start, and this is what they wanted from a very long time. Will this be the 10th round for them? Are we going to witness a 10-2 swap, or God's Rain might just do something crazy in the final round of this first half? Although they don't have a goodbye, but it's God's Rain. They can do some crazy and nasty stuff time by time.
I think Autumn's about to have some nasty stuff done to him if he tries to make that move. I'm assuming he's mostly going to swing on the back of Sai's contact. But that is if Sai survives the contact. Autumn, he's been looking sharp, but Aduga is sharper and he doesn't get to peek on the timing. Oh man, that's exactly what I was hoping he would do, but he fails. And that's partially because the toxin screen doesn't let him see anything. It really suppresses whatever he can do. High Tide and Go committed.
I've got your trail.
They're not going in for the plant instantly though. They will wait for the Seekers to make sure nobody from God's Rain is playing on the other side of that High Tide. Kishi also keeping Vibor distracted, which leaves less firepower on the site itself, and it makes Aster Army's job very easy. No, but they're overheating.
Yeah, make it a 2v3. Doxer got a free pick when Hoax was trying to enter inside the Vipers. But Tex got shut it down, and what a swap! What a first half. I think so. God's Rain never expected this. Never expected this from Aster after the loss on Split. But hey, this is the new revamped Aster Army. This is the new Aster Army teams needs to be careful of.
Yeah, but it's not like Aster Army were doing something completely out of the box or something extraordinary. They were doing the same old thing which God's Rain is simply not able to adapt to. The B side is being busted open every single time, and God's Rain don't have a fix. And that's how Aster Army exploit the hell out of this region and get themselves a massive 10-2 lead. Not something you would have expected after a 13-3 loss on Split. Can they turn this into a win and push us into third map? We'll find out on the other side of this break.
Came for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z. Or should I say, the Gen X. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly through it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I Nico cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Came for my wins, I need my ends. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to NODWIN Valorant Challenges South Asia. Just like this bear is fishing for some food, Aster army were using that same old hook, line and sinker bait onto the B site and exploiting it to get this massive 10-2 lead. Now let's see if God's Reign can replicate the same. It's gonna be a staple B hit once more, but there's no harbor to cover their approach. They will have to rely on Hoax's flashes. And Aduka is sharp. That's what happens when you don't shut his eyes closed. Another peek. Oh, he's brave. He's adventurous. Smokes from God's Reign haven't been deployed yet. Tix will finally put them to use. No, he doesn't. Okay, then. So I guess God's Reign are going to use their sweet time. A counter flash from goalie. It really determines where God's Reign are, and they've also managed to get a pick on the side. The fault line that was initially put in by Hoax doesn't come to use now, as all of the kills go in the favor of Aster army. This toxin screen becomes their undoing, makes them so vulnerable, it's easy to shoot down these paper-thin targets. Oh, what a juicy frag. We love seeing more of those. And the flashes from goalie are perfect. Those birds are hitting God's Reign square in the eye.
Yeah. Oh no, God's Reign, now they're forced to go for some buy. And okay, Hoax invested in a Spectre. Other two players, Vibor and Autumn, invested in a Marshal. And Cyan takes on a Sheriff. God's Reign trying to hit towards the B. But I like the setup from Kishi and also the approach from Aster. Counter pushing the mid and also controlling a lot of map control. This is just huge because of this now they are more sure that it's going to be a B hit.
Yeah, and that's also why you can see Doxer is not keen on contesting this area at all. He's just playing for a swing on B-Link, and if there's a smoke in the way, he's not going to try to peek it. He uses the snake bites and everything to deal damage and prevent the spike plant for as long as possible. But after having taken all that map control, Aster army do not go for backstabs or flanks. Instead, all of them are going to regroup towards the CT and Heaven region. They will use B-Link as well. But their biggest strength is going to be that cove, which can be used to defuse.
Yeah. The amount of damage it can tank, just beautiful Vipo. A nice pick. Aduka is down and not with one for himself. He missed that cove or what? I don't know. But what a flawless round. God's Reign. What do you have just pulled off?
Yeah, right? It seemed like a very difficult round for them to pull off. Especially with Aster army having all their numbers. I thought that maybe Marzel can use that high tide to push them away and then use the cove to finally stick the plant, but he missed the cove. And the high tide also wasn't that deep, so it's a bit questionable. I mean, we'll never know why he used that cove over there. I guess he got sucked into the gravity well, and At that time,
Revealing
he
area.
kind of missed because his body was being thrown off like that. I don't know, that's just an assumption. That can be wrong. Just like the Cove.
What Aduka has, look at that, and look at his teammates.
Yeah?
He has an operator.
In the third round.
Okay.
Never mind.
He had, yeah.
Got one.
Hey, but Kishi can still rack up a few kills. And he's gonna go for the repeat again. This brave boy has no respect for God's reign and their pushes. And he's still not been dealt with. He's gonna hold the back angle while Kohli can mark his front lines. And when Kohli gets swung like that, it's up to Doxer to start the rescue mission. Kishi doesn't need a rescue.
No way. Kishi just... I think this is a way to tell his coach that, you know what, man, like, you gave Aduka a chance to play a duelist. Can I also play with Jet? Because look at that. Look at these nasty shots, but good investment. That was a high risk, high reward play from the side of Aster Army, despite the fact they lost the previous round, just before the third round of the second half, and they still invested in an operator. Although Aduka got picked, but Kishi just did his job very, very.
Amazing stuff. And Mandalay finally calms down. He was so outspoken on Split. At least now, he's still outspoken, but like he has a little sense of calm in him. Meanwhile, Godspeed finally showing signs of stress. This isn't the outcome we expected, you know. Last time, God's Reign were able to defeat them 13-5 on Split, and they might just get a little taste of their own medicine. What happened to them in Split might just happen to them. I mean, what they did to Aster Army in Split might just happen to them in Pearl.
Okay. And I think so, you know what, this is the end. Maybe God's Reign can stretch this a little bit, but shutting, to shut down Aster Army from this position when they are on this match point is very difficult. Plus, the way they are playing. The way they are playing is just perfect, and yeah, Mazel. This is the second time you got sucked in inside that gravitational pull. And you lost your pick.
Zuka forced to fall back. I'm starting to see signs of danger now. Aster Army have left way too much on the capable shoulders of Aduka, and while he is a force to be reckoned with, he can't be allowed to hold on to this entire side by himself, especially with no backup. Aster Army, how will they recover that op now? God's Reign have firmly planted their foot into this B side, and soon they will plant the spike as well. Willie can go for the spam plays, but he's just so careful about not being discovered. The spam comes through, but it's on Vibor's skull instead, who still kills him.
Oh, nice spam through the box, but Doxer is now unfortunately forced to fall back. You need to save those snake bites, you need to save that weapon, and also your shield is intact. So, better option is to just fall back and respect your opponents. You got one pick and that's it. You lost an operator. Plus, Vibor farmed up his ultimate, and that's going to be a lockdown, which could potentially, give them a free round. 12-4, it's going to be the scoreline. They might stretch it up to the 12-5. Just because of the economy crunch, Aster is just going to face in the next round. Plus, Aduka. Let's talk about him for a while, because he's been doing great. Okay, he is good duelist, he is playing good, he's also supporting his team pretty perfectly, but missing those shots when he was playing on the attacker side, and now you are also missing those operator shots on the defensive side. That's not good. And look at that Kishi. Holy smokes, I was amazed by the performance of Autumn. Kishi with 23 and 5 death. Oh, okay, Kishi. Took this, and I told you, right? I told you. Kishi is the best KJ.
Just adding his stats, making it look simple. Aduka once again called upon to stop this A-Art push. The drone will push him back. Actually, it doesn't. He pushes even ahead. Recon finally claims his life, but it gives Hoax the final point he needs for that Rolling Thunder. After using it, he will use it to hurtle down towards A Art, but the aftershock is keeping Kohli away. He finally slipped past. Now another challenge lies ahead of him, and that's the A site. A main hasn't really been cleared yet because of Doxer's Poison Cloud, and even the Hideout has been used to keep everybody away from the site itself. Kohli tries to peek ahead of the smoke, gets traded out by Hoax, but in this 3v3 situation, God's Reign have to act fast because Aster Army are calling in the rotations already. They're calling in the big guns. What?
Oh,
no! Marzel had a great crossfire over there along with Doxer, but he leaves him vulnerable. Leaves him stranded alone, and the site falls into disarray.
It's a 1v2. Kissy up against the wall.
30 seconds left.
He can just secure this round right here. Right now, but Dix was aware. Dix was repaired. And the 5th round for Aster. I love the way they reacted to those situations, but Marzel, dude, you had it.
Yeah, I mean, I would not
Almost had
pin
it.
this round. I would not credit God's Reign for this round, but I would actually take away the credit from Aster Army in this instance. I understand that Marzel can't contest Art by himself over there, especially with Doxer holding the position all the way towards the right-hand side. But he could have flash peeked. And even if he wanted to fight A-Main along with Doxer, he could have made that call. He could have peeked alongside him. So that was a problematic situation.
And my man is again being woken. Vandalak.
Yeah. You wouldn't want to reach the map point and then start choking. You would absolutely hate to be in that situation.
Yeah, and also I think so. They have 2,400, 1,700 creds right now. 3,700, apologies. It's 2,600, 2,200. So they can buy a light shield and a sheriff. So this is again going to be an easy round for God's Reign. Although Aster Army can farm those ultimates. If Kissy died, he will get his lockdown. If Doxer died or pick an opponent, he will get his Viper's Pet. Similar thing for Kohli. Marzel needs to secure a pick if he wants it to get his Reckoning available. But God's Reign, moving forward, Vibho still has his lockdown available. Autumn about to charge his Plate Storm Sai using his Owl Drone to collect an early information. But Aduka playing around the screens. Come on. Being sneaky. And he's safe. Oh my god, this man survives.
Yeah, but Aster Army have a 4 stack on the B site. And even though Aduka falls, there's still plenty of resistance over here. It's only Marzel playing towards the A site who uses it to just chill, and he's now regrouping with his teammates. And God's Reign are being extremely careful. The Sova Util did not reveal all that much, and they're still very paranoid about running into a stack like this. Which is a valid concern, to be honest.
Yeah. Good guiding light, but Autumn was just perfect with his aim. Pokes with free pick with that aftershock, but Kissy got flashed and a bullet straight between his eyes, and he's done. 6 for God's Reign.
Yeah, Aster Army really have to buckle up now. Can't let God's Reign get away with too much. They're starting to claw their way back, and while it is a steep climb, you can never underestimate God's Reign in situations like these. Flashes from God's Reign were actually quite nice. It allowed the Autumn to get inside and start spraying. And even though there was a counter guiding light from Kohli, it didn't really help all that much. Plus the aftershock frag, that's just spectacular.
The unexpected here. And look at that, Aduka with an operator playing a bit aggressive from that A-main box angle. And the left art on the shoulders of Kohli that he's just going to play on contact. It's a good plan and crossfire setup towards P-Link.
Meanwhile, Aduka pushing out of A-main gives them so much early information. At this point, God's Reign are confirmed to be towards the B side, and we might see Aster Army move their rotations. I mean, Kohli's already inbound.
This is what we are waiting for the past 3 rounds, and finally Vibod utilizes his lockdown. Got the sight, But here comes a counter lockdown, and Marcel, he got detained. No way, dude. And point two. No trade there, and also losing out Kishi. That's bad for Aster Army.
Yeah, I was expecting Kohli to probably somehow defend the detained player, but now the onus of detention is on Autumn. He's being burned by the snakebite, but the moment he recovers, he snaps onto Doxer's cranium. That's what you expected of him. Godswain continue clawing back. They continue kicking around. And Aster Army are now starting to feel this map slip away from them.
7th round on board for God's Reign. And if they are forced to save, it means they might get another round for free. Not for free. They have to, just put up a good fight. Because you can't underestimate the players of Aster Army. But you are very close. Come on. It's 12th. You're on match point, Aster Army. You can't lose. Plus, if God's Range is going to repeat it again and again, the way they are playing, it will haunt you till the end. You might push up to the overtime. So, that's bad. And hey, God's Range this time just looking out that they might move towards A. Because if Hoax collects that ultimate point, he will get his Rolling Thunder.
Get out of my way.
Oh, this time it's Sai with the op. Autumn relinquishes the big bad gun to the Sova. And I would love to see what he can do. Ult available on Hoax now. He uses the ultimate orb. And Aster Army are not contesting this one. Flash is sent in, but Autumn can't dash in yet because of the snake bites. Sai is going to try to mark everybody. They know for a fact that there's going to be at least the Killjoy present over here, and now they spotted the Viper too. But the rotations from Aster Army have already arrived. Even if the Rolling Thunder is utilized, the Reckoning will be sent in return. So they will fight fire with water.
Lambot has been destroyed. The Storm Grenade and the Snakebite combination being utilized. Autumn about to take control of the dark hole. Kishi has to be careful. Autumn, but Marcel instantly shuts him down. Kishi secures one, denies his counterpart, and this is what Aster is looking about. Aster is looking for a very long time. This might be the round, Kishi, but he goes down.
And it's up to Sai to bodyguard his planting teammate. He's protected Hoax long enough. But now he needs to somehow make sure they can't get back across either. And because Vibor's already dead, the flank from Kohli will go undiscovered. The alarm bot doesn't show up. And he might just execute Sai in the worst way possible. The pinch comes through. And now God's Reign can feel this map slip away from them. Unless they can pull off a massive 2v3, it is nearly impossible to keep this alive. Hawks in the Viper's pit, using the poison to somehow keep the prey away. But the Hunter will be taken down in the end. Oh my goodness, that was a very close affair from God's Reign. They almost got that round in the hand, especially with Hoax coming up with the heroics. Give this man a cape. But it was a bit too late.
What a round. What a game. And now Doxer is again, just discussing some stuff. Why Kishi is... Maybe just Kishi is just still thinking about that one round in which he got killed pretty easily. But now this is a reality check. Okay, he's happy. This is a reality check for God's Reign because in the split one, you defeated them very comfortably, especially on the semi-final when it mattered the most. You defeated them on their map pick more brutally than Aster ever thought in their lifetime, right? Ever thought, it's like the worst nightmare for them. But now you face the defeat on the best map, so you have to be careful for the future.
Yeah, we're going to be going into map number 3, ladies and gentlemen, but all of that on the other side of this break. See you soon.
Came for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Phillips. Presenting Hyundai i20 N-Line. It's time to play.
Making dreams come true and memories happier.
I know my destiny. destiny. Destiny.
Last time Aduka was playing Gecko on split, but then he played a jet the other time around. And he will continue with the jet this time too. Identical lineups on both sides, but there is one thing which isn't identical. The only different thing over here is going to be my co-caster. Please welcome Fritz.
Thank you so much, Crips, and I'm super excited to see. I was watching the stream on YouTube. I thought it was a simple 2-0 affair. As soon as I saw game number 1 of Split and then Pearl, is a very strong map for Team God's Reign. They've defeated teams like Velocity on it, and here they fall down against Team Aster. And as you said, those B hits were just relentless, and that's a little bit of a problem that the side of Team God's Reign had been having in the past too. I mean, those B-side hits have been very difficult to stop, considering you just have the Astra to throw the smokes, and even in retakes it's not that simple. Not having a Harbor, not having a Viper, these are the problems that you'll face, and Astra, they were very good to exploit those. Let's see if we can do something similar in this map of Haven. It is gonna be a quick B hit from the side of Team Aster. They've got the B side, no contention whatsoever.
Alright, that's a fast one from Aster. Quick hop and a skip inside, plant the spike and dash back to safety. That's as stable as it gets, but now God's Reign have a lot to counter. Not only are there aftershocks and shock darts available, they somehow have to deal with all the Aster members pushing them from garage. And while they trade out 1 for 1, the real battle begins now as the convergence of all these guns trained at them, it turns into a hailstorm of bullets, and Aster Army get this round without any problems.
A good approach, plus God's Reign was not expecting that at all. They were not ready for a B hit. They left it out completely. They focused on the A and C sides a bit more, and that's where Aster were able to capitalize. Good shots, plus a good post plant too. I mean, for a second there, God's Reign thought they'll be able to stick the spike at least to half with the smoke that there was out B main, but it just faded. It just faded, and Aster, they just caught God's Reign with the pants down. Good shots, good trade there in garage, but at the end the plan was on B. We were not able to successfully go and defend that particular side, and Aster, they run away with round number 1 and probably round number 2 as well, because look at the weaponry. You have 2 Vandals, a Bulldog for Dogzer. So that's heavy investment from Team Aster. This should relatively mean that they get the round.
Relatively. That being the key word. And the whole point of relativism is that it keeps on changing depending on certain factors. The main factor over here is that God's Reign have a triple stack on A. Make it 4 as even Hoax is coming into the fray. But the ace shot fault line peek that he was looking to make along with Sai is not going to be useful anymore. Aster Army have already sneaked into the site. They haven't cleared out shot yet, and Kishi might just meet an early demise. Got him though. He's the only one who gets a frag. Kishi, he does lose his life in the end, but opportunities were missed. And so were the shots.
Hey, this really could have been a God's Reign round, because no one was looking at Tix. He was tucked into the corner perfectly, that too. And him not getting a frag. Yes, the second player still gets activated with the shorty because no one was looking at him, but him getting first frag and then another shorty frag. Then there is hesitation from the side of Team Aster to repeat shot. The third player wouldn't get into the mix if the 2 frags went the way of God's Reign. Oh, it was a very important duel over there that Tix lost, which could have led to Aster losing the round. But hey, everything is well that ends well, and the round ended on a great note for Team Aster. They get that second, and are poised in a good way to fight for the third as well.
This is going to be yet another clean B hit. Could have been cleaner, but there's a lot of KJ utility in the way, so Aduka won't get to plant the spike that effortlessly. Yeah, and he realizes he's overstayed his welcome. Time for the dash back, but look at the amount of rotations they managed to draw out. They've discovered KJ util over there. They've discovered the shock darts and the breach after shock, so now they can confirm, they can say for sure that at least 4 members of God's Reign are present towards the B site. They will be mistaken, it's only 3, but at least Aster Army have the right idea to avoid this area like the plague.
Sai is very confident. Just because you had a player down short, Autumn is able to get back into the A side and make sure that it's still not being overrun, and Autumn has been able to cheek up quite a bit. He did dodge the molly over there, And on the back of it, Autumn is able to get the numbers advantage. But now let's see. Aster still hit the B side. The stun. It's a very good stun, but they don't check the corner. Kishi, good for one. The trade is there. Takes even gets the second. And Sai is able to clean up shop onto Kohli. Doxer, the last man standing. Nowhere near the action. Better to save this Vandal here.
Well, it's a clean one from God's Reign. Aster Army, at least they were very vigilant on where the defenses of God's Reign lie. They tried exploring other avenues too. They even sent Marcel down to a very risky place, hoping to set up a fake, but didn't work. So as long as they can get the plant down and do some economic damage, Aster Army should be happy with the outcome. Of course, now that everyone's got weapons in their hands, it will be the real acid test.
In terms of ultimates, I do also see Aster lining up quite good ultimates. A very better fashion than God's Reign. An early stun out Garage. They've already taken a Garage control. He is being pressured a little bit, and Marcel is able to get the first frag. Both the players being revealed too, so this could be a little bit difficult. But Aster, great job by them. They take Garage. They also enter into B at the same time, and knowing that there is a player outside C, around the elevator region, they instantly try to pivot back towards the B side. They've got that side too for themselves, but they're not happy. They do not want to plant the spike right now. They're crunching in onto the C side through the C link. Even presence shown outside C main. And Autumn, he can just find the perfect timing. If he's able to get one, that should be the frag. Kohli marking the smoke. And Aster, the crack open the B side should. The crack open the C side, and this should be an instant safe for God's Reign.
We saw a little glimpse of this on Split as well. In fact, one of the only rounds that Aster Army were able to win on Split was one where they disengaged. They fell back down mid and then re-hit the B side with more vigor and more enthusiasm. This time, a similar story ensued over here. They take control of Garage with brute force. They even creep up C long, but then instantly back off, let Marcel get into a link from where he can hear a lot of rotations. And even though he wasn't able to contribute too much information this time around, it gave God's Reign so much space towards the backside of Garage. And with that, C crunch becomes very easy. Okay, not the best nanoswarm toss, but we've seen better. It still doesn't matter because the C side will be obliterated and carpet bombed with all this utility. Sai left completely defenseless, and even the rest of his teammates can't do much. Even though there is a stack on C, Aster Army's carpet bombing of the utility doesn't net God's Reign anything more than a single kill.
Just pure chaos. Just pure chaos. And the Molly lineup you saw is for the Logs region, the Logs area.
Yeah.
So they knew this is an eco round. They knew the crossfire has to be formed between Elevator and Logs if there is any hope for Team God's Reign to win the round. The Molly clears Log entirely, isolates the player out Elevator. He cannot peek anytime soon. He cannot peek without that utility being completely put off. And there was just a single weapon onto Sai. And you just saw what happened to him. Stunned, flashed, dazed, every bit of utility hit him in the side. He was just dead. He was also being revealed on top of it. So yeah, I mean, he was just dead. No support in terms of his team in that particular point of time. And yeah, Aster, they easily win the eco round of their opponents. This time again, they've just gone in, got that Hunter's Fury ready and up for work. Meanwhile, Marcel wants to just sneak into the B side. There is a turret. A smoke could be thrown in by Kohli, trying to just deny any vision to the turret. Autumn, I think he has been spotted down, yes. And the battle might just take place here. Aduka, an important fight to have. An Autumn, realizing that this is not the right place to be in, instantly backs off. Although goes in for the repeat.
No.
We'll have to see that battle, and he wins the fight. Marcel, though, completely stunned from hope. He does not expect the player backside, and that's where Webo strikes. And God's Reign, a good hold. They also realize that the C players are also under a little bit of a pressure. Sai, blind as a bat. The second flash hits too, and even the paranoia of his teammate is hitting. But he still does not relinquish control. Doxer, good for one. But Sai inside is also able to chime in a frag for himself. The lockdown is huge. 5 more seconds on the clock. But Vibor falls. And Kishi, he'll be able to run away from the lockdown. It's only Doxer who has been detained. but this will give enough time for God's Rain to flash back into side. It's a 2v2. Rolling Thunder gets thrown in. Kishi, he has been the hero in the previous few rounds.
Oh
but
my
the
God.
Hunter's Fury out in the open. And Hoax, he survives. Wanted to be the Thor out here, but Dogzer, you'll be put to bed.
It's so funny to see him try to shoot down a Suva floating mid-air like that. But this round was a roller coaster of emotions. In the past, whenever Aster Army have tried to spread out and just try to bamboozle God's Rain, they have succeeded, but not this time. They were all over the map. They tried to make noise towards B first, send Marzel in, then they try to hit A, go back all the way towards C, and with this they're just hoping to make God's Rain over-rotate and just pilferate their defenses all over the map, but that doesn't happen. Even though somehow the rotations in God's Rain arrive on A, in the nick of time, it's up to Hoax to come through with the heroics. And this time the cape is on a Duka. He was supposed to be the tip of the spear, but he gets flattened out. Sai survives the dump of utility, and he enables space for more of his teammates. Snapping back to Doxer. This guy, I mean, I don't even need to talk about cape. Sova literally has one. The hero play from Sai. And his face is stone cold. It's just another day in the office for him.
I mean, just great performance. Only if Tips is not able to get that frag out of Kohli, or even if Kohli just decides to show himself 5 seconds late, the round could have been entirely different. It would have been Aster's, but Tips getting the first frag and then Sai activating like a god. That's how God's Rain play. That's why they reign over here. They've been able to get a very clean round. This will help them stabilize their economy too a little bit though, because if they still lose the round, Sai and Tix won't have money to buy in. But let's see. Once again, Marcel just lurking around, hoping to find any information out garage. There's just an alarm board to give information, and Aster, I love this. See, every round, Aster's first job is to destroy Killjoy utility. And I've been literally barking from split 1 that this is a basic default that every team should have. Just break Killjoy utility so that you force rotation. This time though, God's Rain's rotations are just on point because they've got 3 players out of the safe side, and that is exactly where they need to be. And Tix with a huge ultimate gets all the information they need. The orb in Autumn's hands too is going to be very, very crucial, but he misses the shot. And Uduka is already into the side. The flash is not good, but still the players are fighting it out. Folks, the stun was okay. There was Rolling Thunder invested, which hit Uduka there. And God's Rain, they still hold the side and have the numbers advantage.
30 seconds left.
Finally, the lockdown, which enables them to clear out this region. And the lockdown also was used only because Sai had already expended his Hunter's Fury, so it gives Marzel a clear leeway in. Kishi now taking charge, taking control, and he's also taking frags. Neutralizes the man advantage. This puts God's Rain in a very precarious spot. Doctor's position given away, but what will they do with that information? What can they possibly accomplish, especially when Marzel is firing helter-skelter? Aster Army, such a well-coordinated round and such a good approach to just come back in this whole round. Keep in mind that their initial dump of utility was thwarted by that Rolling Thunder. And they fell back in just the nick of time. They get into the sewers back again. After Sai has already used up his Hunter's Fury and the effects of the Rolling Thunder's concussion have worn off, they hit them once again with the lockdown too, which basically neutralizes all of God's Rain efforts to take A control. And this is just the actual action phase. The prelude to the action phase was even better. You rightfully pointed out how God's Rain is, how Aster Army is spreading across the map and breaking all that Killjoy utility, which really puts God's Rain in a state of confusion all throughout. Plus, they don't just break the Killjoy utility and fall back. They commit to it further. Marzel making all that noise towards C-Long, trying to actually sell a fake with bodies rather than just with utility. That makes it so much more convincing. It delays the rotation for God's Rain even further. Plus, you had Aduka down towards the Suvas region, and from that spot, you can hear a lot of footsteps whenever God's Rain tried to make rotations via A and B. All that just creates a compound effect. And Aster Army have way much more information and the ability to deny information to God's Reign. A double whammy.
This same round, they realize that it is the eco for God's Reign. And they've again gotten into the B side, literally for free. No utility was found there. They get the site, they get the plant. The post plants is always a bit easier with the weapon superiority. Mazel is able to fire on all cylinders too. The turret is also giving all the information needed. Players out grass. They will have a little bit of difficulty dealing with the rifles, with the specters that they own. But yeah, I mean, the players will just sit back and relax. Webor, good for one, but how much can he get? There's a smoke right in his face. The spectre shots were good, but it did not deter Kohli to leave that angle. Right click from bottom. Just better. But then Aduka shows in the shorty. So yes, they do get a few frags here and there. Sai is able to even couple up Aduka in the process. But Aster, the only thing they need right now are the number of rounds, and they are getting it very, very easily.
Yeah, and they're switching up their approach every now and then. Whenever there's a buy down from God's Reign, they spread out with the defaults, try making noise all over the map, which will push and pull God's Reign rotations away, hoping to just dismantle their defenses. But whenever they realize that God's Reign have an eco and they're most likely going to stick together, they brute force their way into the B site, which, by the way, has been working like a charm for them. Usually teams have this whole bread and butter approach towards A or towards C using one of the extremities of the maps, but it's very rare to see teams using the B site so quickly and so often. I guess Aster Army have indeed been rejuvenated. Recon doesn't reveal where Vibhor is, but that's okay because the shock darts still break a couple of his nanoswarms.
Again, look at this. Mazel so confident, just walking out B main, having that information, and the stun is just perfect too. I mean, Autumn, he was stunned out and Vibhor was flashed, and still Vibhor is able to get that frag onto Aduka. Kishi though answers back in kind. Kohli gets a frag for himself, and once again, God's Reign just lumped out of the side. As soon as they think of making these rotations, then Aster is already into the side.
Flash out.
And the force save is called once again. They've got way too much armor, utility, and weaponry to relinquish this round. And even if they tried, even if they got all the frags, Doxer has the Hunter's Fury, which basically guarantees them the round. Aster Army this time, they still play in a very slow fashion, but instead of spreading out with their defaults, they stack up right outside of C, try to make a contact play. Okay, wait, actually I cannot even call it a contact play because they didn't try to keep their positions a secret. They were using the Sova ability to actively find information and break all the KJ setups. But after a brief moment of silence, as soon as God's Reign dropped their guard, Aster Army burst into the site. And they do it with vigor, with machoism. There's nothing that God's Reign can do to survive that onslaught. Even Autumn with the op couldn't really do much because he's carpet bombed, right? He's got the fault line in his feet. If he dodges that, there's a paranoia coming in from from Kohli. And if he somehow dodges that, Kishi is raining flashes into the site. So there's really not much that you can do except hide inside your cloudburst. And that is no good place to hide.
Shadows traveling.
Once again, takes time to be the off-angle player will be flushed out because of the drone, and you cannot try and hide in the side with such a high utility team. Yes, Vibhor is able to get one, but how? Where is the backup? There isn't. And the answer for plays like these is just stack outside B, play 3 C-Link or maybe 2 C-Link and the other ones maybe towards A and A-Link, and play retake on C side. That's the only answer you have. Don't throw these early darts. I mean, I've seen it happen, and the adjustments should be like instant. Once you see 4 rounds, exact same thing happening, a lot of utility right in your face, the adjustments should be there, and then moments like these happen. Oh my god, Sai, that will be detrimental to his mental a lot.
There were so many better weapons in the arms of God's Reign at the start of the round. And now poor Autumn, having nothing but a Guardian. I'm sure he can probably recover a weapon. But all the dead bodies are a bit too far away from him, so he will have to take this Guardian forward along with him. Yeah.
Last
And this time,
round in
Aster
the
Army
half.
don't change all that much. They still hit the C site. They just interchange the positions of where the fault line and where the paranoia will be thrown. Usually the fault line is sent towards logs. This time it's sent more towards the backside region, and the paranoia is sent towards logs instead. Apart from that, as soon as the Sova Util reveals anything, the Hunter's Fury comes through.
Player standing.
Oh.
You had to show it in slow motion, didn't you? Like, you had to do side dirty like that. One of those rare moments where he misses the shots, and that's how he gets treated? Nah, bro. Observer doing him dirty.
Okay, the movements like this make the game fun for us. But hey, once again, Aster, just try to find that alarm bot out garage, but this time it's not placed there, or I think it has been just taken care of, and it was. So once again, God's Ray, they're playing retake on A. Alright, that's a good call here because you're trying to defend B, since this has been a very simple default that the players of Aster have been throwing in. They show presence A, they show presence C, but at the end it's Mazel who tries to get his team into this B side, and he will easily be able to do so. The turret will give some information. Mazel
same play.
not looking towards Vibhor, and he has just been playing there for the past 2 rounds, I think. And Vibhor gets rewarded for it. This time he'll be forced back with the aftershock. Kohli will be able to get the frag. And Aster, they're using the map perfectly. They're just showing signs of retreat, but then they hit the side back again, and this time they take ceiling control with the rolling thunder. So Godlike really don't have a lot of time to adjust, but folks, in the midst of all this, is able to find a frag out to Kishi.
It could have been another one through the smoke as soon as the player was revealed. Dawson tries to make his play, and he does finally get the reward. Nice little blade storm from the Jet, but it doesn't really help. And now the two Omens are locked in a 1v1 against each other. It's a battle of the brains. Kohli jumping on top. The shorty.
Oh my
I
God.
almost thought he didn't have it. The first shot missed, but Kohli's able to get it in the bag in the end. Lovely comeback. Aster Army going from strength to strength. After that heavy loss in split, I am very shocked to see how they are able to play so fearlessly.
The simple problem that they've had, and I think Aster, the coach, has definitely put in a lot of time here. He figured out that on the map of Pearl, the B side is weak. He figured out that again on Haven, not a lot of teams have tried to challenge God's Reign on this B side. And that's where I think, 3 or 4 rounds Aster have executed out of the B side and have won all of them. So that is something I'd like to give it to the coaching staff for Team Aster. They've done their homework, they've done their job. They know that God's Reign is weak in a little bit of a thing, in a little bit of a, I'd say, part of the map, and that has been exploited way too much in the past 2 maps.
Yeah, and all that research is bearing fruit. Now, can they finish this game off and win it? Or will God's Reign be able to mount a comeback? All these questions will be answered on the other side of this break.
Hit for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Presenting Hyundai i20 Line. It's time to play.
Yes, I'm a Gen Z. Or should I say, the Gen X. And I don't let fear hold me back from doing anything. I choose to move fearlessly through it all.
Hey buddy, we need you to trim your beard for this next scene.
What? Okay, fine, I'll admit it. I move fearlessly in most things, but I draw the line here. What if I Nico cut myself?
Try this.
Phillips.
Hit for my wings, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in.
Welcome back to God's Reign versus Aster Army. You guys are watching NODWIN Valorant Challenger South Asia, and Aster Army has a massive lead. Before I even complete my sentence, Aduka cuts my words short, cuts Hawks' life in half, and puts him in an early grave. And this forces God's Reign to go all the way back. They run all the way towards A now.
They may find the site completely empty, but when they turn back, they'll see that Fox is already dead. And in terms of post-plant utility, you do not have the Nano Swarm. You just have the double shock dart from Sai. And that way, if it is saved, that'll be used. And God's Reign, yes, they do get the site for themselves. Dogser will try to get as much damage as possible with the shock dart. And oh my god, Autumn just down to 26 HP. This is a very difficult situation for the players of Team God's Reign. Vibor, though, could be the person who redeems them all. Needs to find a frag here. Autumn just has to keep his life. The recon just will reveal one of the players that Tex is able to capitalize on it. The player under Heaven gets a frag. Vibor also is able to get a frag of his own. Kohli left all alone, although it is still very doable. Tex with just 20 HP to his name. Won't be found, and Tex is able to close shop. God's Reign, even though the first frag went against them inside, they're somehow able to hold. And that ambitious jump out of Heaven, not being coordinated with the players out CT is where they lost the round. But Aduka, he's a dirty player. If he keeps hitting shots like that, God's Reign will be in a lot of trouble. Kohli, a good attempt, but at the end, when you're left all alone against 3 players, it won't really bear fruit.
It really tells you everything you need to know about God's Reign, doesn't it? They were able to hold A. Even though it's a post-plant situation, they were able to hold it so well. And that's exactly why Aster Army in the first half did not attack A as much. They were just continuously bombarding B and C repeatedly because they know the A side happens to be one of the strengths of God's Reign, at least when it comes to holding. Now God's Reign look to exploit some weaknesses on C of their own. Aster Army leave it alone. They stack the other side. It's a wrong gamble, but hey, that's what gambles are for. You win some, you lose some.
This should be an easy round. And Aster, they're doing one thing very good that I see. It seems to be the retake is not attempted. Okay, I thought they'll all go down to the spike, but they'll try at least. Sai gets one. Autumn backside is able to get 2 from that position, and Oaks comes in for another frag. So yeah, God's Reign, they easily get the follow-up round. This is the 5th one on the board. But would have been better to die to the spike, because now you've given 2 ult-tops to Hawks, 1 to Sai, 1 to Evor. That will only help them get their ultimates a little bit quicker. But yeah, I mean, Aster, they themselves have pretty good ultimate progression too. So
yeah, that's a good point you brought up over there. Dying to the spike rather. Last weekend we saw the match between Talon and Paper Rex, and Talon in the second round after losing Pistol, they just literally waited in spawn. They didn't move an inch. They just literally died to the spike. At least they tried to. Paper Rex still got a couple of frags, but yeah, that really shows what these teams like to do when they're in these eco rounds, which has no hope of them winning. They would much rather give away the lives to Spike rather than give away the ult-tops to their opponents. But then again, that is something you need to consider in the grander scheme of things. For now, the immediate concern for Aster Army should be this impending A lobby hit, which Aduka is prepared for. He has lost his dash, so he's gonna have to make a treacherous journey back on his feet. And luckily, he doesn't get pursued, so he gets away with his life.
Oh, Doxer, they're dancing around with the Vandal. You won't hit shots with that weapon. Or if you had a Spectre, it could have been a different thing. But God's Reign trying to pull off something that Team Aster did very frequently, but Autumn misses the dash. And that's no information present here. Marzil being burned up, just down 72 HP. Oh, well enough to make sure that he still holds control of Garage. God's Reign, they do get into the B side, they'll be able to get the plant down too. But the post-plant situation, the post-plant setup is still not there. All 4 players stuck in the site.
Okay, it's going to be a very difficult retake, especially in this 5v5, but Aster Army continue hitting their shots, and my goodness, they are rolling in! That is way too quick!
You see the difference though. You see the difference from Team Aster. Instead of all going through either of the legs, they first take grass control. This helps them to isolate quite a few angles and leaves God's Reign worrying about B main. Because yes, you might have a player out grass, but there's no one watching B main. And you'll always have to be worried about one spot that someone could flank you through A main. A side. So that is something very good done from Team Aster. The smoke fades out at the worst possible time too. And Aster, they just run into the side, get the frags, and get the job done. A great retake.
This is
God's
gonna be
reign.
fun.
They were able to get into the side as Aster did, but they were not the victorious ones.
What's this?
Revealing
They
area.
will have to face the music now. Aster Army have only a few rounds left before they run out of money eventually, and God's Reign catch up. For now, they have a little bit of breathing room, but maybe not so much for Aduka, who's forced out of the angle because of the aftershock. The Sova Util detects him yet again towards the A side, but that's the thing. God's Reign have only seen him and him alone. They don't know that even Kohli and Kishi are present on the A side. They try their luck towards Garage, which might yield them some results if they're able to kill Marzel over there. Nanoswarms deployed to deal with any other potential Nanoswarms that might have been in a similar position, but they misjudged the angle of the alarm bot. It will be propped. But what does it possibly mean? Ashrami can't deny the spike plant.
Spike planted.
Once again, the retake setup. Let's say I'd love to see what Team Aster has to throw in. Autumn playing very close to the smoke, but still Marzel gets one. Even him being there does not stop him from getting one. Autumn trying to play that off angle. He's not able to connect the shots, and now he's worried about ceiling. And why not? You don't have a player, you don't have any information. The Blade Storm misses, but Kishi instead is able to take care of Autumn. And now all the God's Reign players are just playing on the basis of spam, because I do not see any sort of Nanoswarm being tossed onto the spike. Vibhor has none, but God's Reign, they get the shots connected, they get the frags for themselves, and are able to knit this B round.
Yeah, and God's Reign keep it nice and simple, right? I mean, unlike Aster Army, who were trying to take control of multiple areas at once on their attacking half, God's Reign focus on one side at a time. They peacefully send the Sova utility towards a detect where Aduka would be, and after they've found him, they head towards the other side. They hit the B side when it wasn't being fully defended, you know. A lot of the players of Aster Army were stacking A, and as soon as God's Reign figured that out, wait, actually I don't even think they figured it out. They just took a gamble towards B and it worked. They had limited information, but with the resources they provided, they still make it work.
Placing swamp
Now
grenade.
this time God's Reign once again starting on the A side, which isn't a surprise because they almost always start off their attacking side rounds with a hit towards A. If it's not a complete hit, they at least try making noise over there. And then later on, if they try to take B or garage control, that will be up to Aster Army to decipher. But for now, Aster Army have their work cut out for them. Win the opening duel over here, which will be offered by God's Reign. They will offer you a fight. The question is, do you pick it?
That's a big risk, Aster. But I think that's on the back of Aduka having all this information, and Vibhor doesn't even check the angle. So he does, and he's still not able to get the frag. Aduka comes out on top, and Aster, they know that this B side will be under threat, but only if Aduka falls. So God's Reign have to make a move towards this A side at a supporting smoke. Look at the minimap. There's a supporting smoke to get Aduka out of that situation. That's brilliant team play. Aster, they have the correct read. Autumn gunning him through shot. The hunters really need to stop their opponents for a little bit more. And inside the job is already being done. Kishi getting the perfect trade. Autumn, he's blind. He was blind and he got two. And then Sai comes in to get the final frag onto Kishi. The round entirely changed, but it was on the basis of, I'd say, luck. Because blinded Jet still hits two frags. How is that possible?
Yeah, we need to see the whole round from his perspective. I still have to appreciate the teamwork of Aster Army. The smoke to bail Aduka out of danger. The Hunter's Fury, which was used by God's Reign, was effectively dodged by almost everyone from Aster Army. And Kishi as well as Kohli were both using the blinds really well. And despite all of that counter utility used by Aster Army, God's Reign still secure the frag, still get the win. It just tells you that you can still lose even after doing everything properly. And that's what can happen when Autumn starts to feel himself, when he can start bringing the heat. Aster Army are forced back down to the economic trenches, stacking the seaside, hoping for a miracle over here, leaving A only in the capable hands of Marzel, who doesn't have a lot of utility to support him, by the way. A supportive smoke has been put down. This should give him an opportunity to hold towards a shot and maybe jiggle around, buy some space for himself, but he offers up his life right at the start.
That's A side open, and knowing that there's a player try to flank them too, God's Reign, this should be the confirmation. it is their eco. They would like to stack up a little bit together. And I mean, Killjoy is the best possible player that can be left all alone on the side. So taking them down, Goddrain gets the side very easily. In terms of ultimates, they have the Rolling Thunder too. That's just the insurance policy. Takes on the contact on the turret peak. South did miss quite a few shots there, but is able to recover, get the frag, and stop this retake from ever coming. Vibor is also still lurking in the smoke, dancing in the smoke. The Stinger won't get anything as Tix is able to deliver the headshot. Kishi, good for one, but Vibor, there were 1,000 angles that Kishi had to check before running out a shot. And that's it. God's reign. They lose a player, they get the round.
Well, that's a fair trade, I would say. They lose only one gun in the process, and the gun that's lost also cannot be recovered by Kohli. He's just got the Spectre. I don't think he even wants to carry it forward. It's going to be much better for him to just give up the life to the Spike. They can afford weapons in the next round regardless. But I like this round from God's Reign. They knew that it could be a stack. It was a stack on the C side at the very least, but God's Reign take no chances. Keep it clean, keep it simple. And unlike Aster Army, who were trying a lot of things at the same time to bamboozle God's Reign, they are not doing even a fraction of the brain games, but still are able to get all these rounds, partially because of superior firepower, partially because the microplays that they are pulling off against the very coordinated utility bombardment from Aster Army continues to work. They're more present in the moment, in the fight, so the trades are better from God's Reign, and that's partially allowing them to claw their way back up, reduce the deficit down to just 2 rounds.
Oof. The curse is real, I think. I mean, they were down 9-3, they back up 10-8. That's a good trade, if you ask me, 5 rounds for 1. But this time though, Aster will have the proper buy. The thing I like to see is, will we see Anuka with the operator? That could really shut these contact plays down. Because God's Reign, they're throwing early utility outside A. They take out space, they take A shot, they take A main. But after that, they just slow down, they just pause. They wait for any sort of re-aggression from Master on other parts of the map. They try to deal with those players first and then finally execute onto the A side. That has been the name of the game till now for God's Reign. They are changing it up, I think, a little bit. There'll be stun, there'll be utility. But will there be anyone on the back of it? No. It's just a cloudburst to show some presence, to make the players of Team Master just vulnerable to A-shot area. And that should be about it. Kishi, though, will be put to test because there are a lot of God's Reign players heading his way.
He's got it prepped. You can see that Rolling Thunder come in. It was calling out his name from a very long time. But when he finally uses it, it doesn't give him much traction. Kishi, in fact, ended up losing Marzam's life. At least Aduka is able to somehow get the man advantage back and put it into a neutral gear. But that could have been a game changer. If there was any follow-up from Aster Army over there, a lot of God's Reign bodies would be dropped to the floor.
The good thing though, by throwing that Rolling Thunder, he denied the push because the smokes timing were completely off and God's Reign realizing that just stopped the push. So it was just Autumn all alone inside and he did good to get one. Doxer though, now spotted down the player and now there's the counter Rolling Thunder. What do you do? Wait, both. Oh, he does not check the angle. And
really? What?
What? He gets 3. He's stunned and he still gets 3. Vibor though, to bail his team out, is able to get a couple. And makes it a bit more doable. Misses the shot though. Dodges the flash, but it's Kishi to come out on top. That is just disgusting.
The stuns and the guns won't stand in his way, but when he sees you, the concussion won't give him away. What a masterful performance. This guy, despite all odds, despite everything that was thrown at him, not only survives, but he thrives in that situation. Hats off.
Oh lord, what just happened here? The TP was insane. Yes, I do agree, but how do you get 3? You get called after 1, you get traded. That's the rule of Valorant, but that did not happen. God's Reign did not turn in time, or even if they did, the player up top was stunned too. This was a very unfortunate round, and once again God's Reign, they'll just throw into the operator of Aduka. He has the angle for himself. The drone though is a great utility to flash off Aduka from this peak.
He's not moving.
And he still fires the shot and gets side. Look at that, he's dropped to 44 HP.
Yeah, tagged him through the wall over there.
Deploying drone.
A little piercing for you. Sounds like a voice line now, doesn't it? Docs are forced to fall back, but he's got plenty of help over here. The cavalry has arrived. And Aster Army can fight Util with Util. They will hold on to these choke points unless Autumn can dash in and create an opening. Tearing apart through the smoke, gets his head torn apart instead. It's Doxer with the hero plays yet again. A triple to get his team the map point. And now God's Reign are feeling the pressure. They can sense this map slipping out of their palms. The grip not tight enough.
We'll need to recheck though. Is this the same as the team that played on Split? Lost 13-3?
Yeah, it doesn't look like the same team now, does it?
And the way, I mean, just the confidence is too great. You look at the duels at A side, right? There's a jet dashed into the smoke. There are a lot of players around nearby, but none of them just budge. There's this utility being thrown in from behind. And they're sitting inside, winning the frags. As soon as all the smokes fade out, all the jet smokes being fade out, they just eliminate all the players of Team God's Reign. And there's no answer to it. Aster, they're just playing it out perfectly. And God's Reign, they went to the B side twice. They won one time and they lost the other one. But then I don't know what has happened. They're still not exploring around that B side. The previous round they did, but they sort of ended out on C, which was again a hero play coming in from the player of Team Aster, Kohli, and he was able to shut down the round. But why don't you go to the B side again?
No.
Why don't you try it out once again? Because A and C are literally no-goes right now for God's Reign.
God's Reign dip into complete madness, eventually falling into the state of bankruptcy. They had quite a lot of plans, and most of them were working too, but the big brain plays collapse under their own weight. Aster Army though now pushing into high gear. Aduka really wanted to take matters into his own hands, but Hoax will take his head from him. This was the opening God's Reign were looking for, and it's been awarded to them.
Let's see though, on the back of it, are they able to convert the round or not, Team God's Reign? They do get the first player out of the game, but look at who's picked up the operator. It's Mazel, and we know how deadly he can be. The call from Aster though, my god, is just perfect again. They've rotated 3 players out to the C side, and that is exactly where the execute is coming. They do realize that there are 2 more players. Where's the supporting utility for Autumn? He's left all alone into this side, and he's just surviving for now, not for long. Kohli also gets a frag. Oh my, what is this happening? The flank comes in from Vibor, but he does not have the weapon for the job. And Dix left all alone. Just contrasting differences between the approach from Aster and God's Reign. When God's Reign dashes in, he's all alone, no utility. We saw the exact opposite when Aster was attacking the C side. A lot of utility being dumped and held, and Aduka being helped a lot. My god, what a victory. A well-deserved victory for Aster Army.
Aster Army finds solace and meaning in the direst of circumstances. You can feel the regret written all over God's Reign and their faces. This was one of those games where God's Reign were supposed to be victorious, and given their dominant performance in Split, were destined to win. But Aster Army take destiny into their own hands. They wrangle the life out of it and write their own. A well-deserved victory indeed. And Aster Army put themselves on the board in their debut match. Marzil as well as Aduka coming into a new team, into a new split, guns blazing.
The only question I have right now for Aster Army, how are the calls so good? How is the synergy so good? This team has been just what, 2 weeks old? And still they've been able to show a performance like this? It is just crazy. I'd love to see some more games from Team Aster. They'll still be a threatening team now, bear in mind. This could be the next reckoning. And oh my god, Aster, the way they played, it was a 2-0 as you said. That is what we thought. It might just be a 2-0. But Aster come in and they show that no guys, yeah, we'll drop one. The 2-0 that you were thinking in God's Reign favor, we could have done it. We just gave them one map of Split.
Yeah, that one map of Split, it it really doesn't stop Aster Army in its tracks. They bounce back
Not
from
at all.
it. They just conjure this sort of alchemy of the spirit that affirms their life in the face of all that adversity. Amazing stuff from Aster Army. I would love to see more of them. In fact, you know what? We will be breaking down this game in detail, and we will also have an interview with someone from Aster Army on the other side of this break. Stay tuned for the details.
Came for my wins, I need my hands. This life is real, can't play pretend. Came off the bench, I get it in. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we gon' way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up, way up, pray up. On track, now we gon' way up, way up. Now we gon' way up, now we going. the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that limit squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Way up, pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip different, this the 7 seas. I deal with life different, make that lemon squeeze. Went off for my style and identity. Better bounce back and get the cheddar cheese. I guess that's why they envy me. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. I got his band like I'm Barry Bonds. Running through the money, but the money's long. I don't love it, but I need it, keep it coming on. Only friendly, me and friends, we don't get along. I put that on my name, that I put them on. I put myself on stage as they sing along. I might book a session, do 100 songs. I'ma let you hear them just to prove you wrong. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. W's as easy as a layup. Working late, stay up. Counting all the way up. Counting blessings, yeah, you know we pray up. Pray up. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. On track, now we going way up. Now we going way up. Now we going. Keep the same energy. Work on being better when I'm 70. Your drip is just a water spring. You know I drip